And so good morning to everybody. My apologies for anybody that wanted to come on this call and couldn't get on this call. It was an oversight on my part. Zoom have brought out this new policy whereby we have to have passwords. And I'd not fully understood that and therefore didn't make a password and didn't give you guys a password. So this has all been last minute. And so big apologies to those of you who wanted to come, couldn't, and as you know, I will make it up to you in more ways than I can even think of right now. But what we've got is we've got 6 lovely women who are all in Asia. So this is what we're working with. Within this, in Chiang Mai, we are suffering a lot with pollution. It is terrible. They are burning the forests, they're burning the fields, and this has been going on for probably longer than coronavirus. And for me, it's terrible. I believe this is all political. I didn't say that. It could be stopped in a heartbeat. And I'm angry. So am I being affected by coronavirus? Yes, but I'm more angry about the pollution because I totally believe that this is 100% political and it could be stopped right now. But of course, it's all about money and power. So thank you for joining me. And we are going to work with the emotions that we've just discussed before we open the webinar. And so that is my anger. This is Susan, restless. Wei Ling, sad, broken. Loretta, restless, trapped, frustrated. Also mentioning that she feels worse at night or when it starts to go dark. So dread, panic, anxiety. We have Liz, anxiety, helpless to help others, people in isolation. We can't go to those, we can't help those. And my family is also in the UK, and 3 of them have already had coronavirus, which made it very, very real to me. One of them very, very badly. They're all recovered now, and the figures are showing that 90% of people are recovering. And when they recover, they are immune. So we forget this, don't we all? The news, the media forgets to tell us this kind of stuff. And so it became very, very real to me when I realized that 3 members of my family had already had it and I didn't know. Then we've got, and this I think is very relevant for all of us, Marine, fear of what's coming, the anxiety of what's coming next. So we're going to work with all of that as a collective, but I'm going to choose each people separately to work with me. But when we do the work with Fast Track for one person, everybody that participates gets this. And so we're doing this as a collective for the collective as well as our individual selves. What, in my experience, is yes, the coronavirus has brought this isolation to us, whether we like it or not. And it is my experience that what we're actually feeling is coming from a deeper place. When we are isolated and we can't distract ourselves with what we're used to, it allows us the time for that stuff to come up. Now that stuff is stuff that we don't need. It's probably stuff that you've been asking to release. But because we're human beings, we just want it to look the way we want it to look. And we want it to happen, you know, like in 3 minutes when I decided, because this is what I feel right now. And, you know, we're very controlling beings, human beings, all human beings. I believe we want it this way. We want it to look like that. We want it to be on Wednesday after yoga and before I've had a shower. We like to have it the way we like it, whether we're spiritual or otherwise. We like it to feel comfortable. All right, and then when we start to get what we're asking for, then we freak out because it didn't feel the way we thought it would, and we might feel a bit unhappy for 5 minutes. So accepting that we are all human beings, that I do believe that whatever is happening is for the greater good. How could it not be? But we have to go through the discomfort of this and take responsibility. We can be part of the solution or we can not. So I'm choosing to be part of the solution by doing this and helping other people get to the other side of this with more grace and ease. So let's see what Fast Track has got to say about that, because Fast Track is going to show us where this stuff comes from and if it really is about what's going on now or whether it is about something deeper. No matter what it shows us, we're going to release it. So you're going to feel better when we've finished. So just for 1 minute, close your eyes. And just allow yourself to feel restless in your body. Where is it? Any sad or broken? Feelings of being trapped, isolated, frustrated. You worry about your family, those people you can't help. Overwhelm. The fear of what's coming next. The unknown, the I don't know. The dread, the panic, the anxiety. Worry about your income, your job, security, relationships. Whatever is ready to present itself, just locate where is that in your body. You don't have to know what it is, but where do you feel it? It might be in more than one place. Just see, has it got a color? Main thing is, what's the intensity? 0 to 10. 0 is there is no intensity, there's nothing there. And 10 is massive, it's a lot. I'm going to ask you all to give me a number 0 to 10, but in no way are we comparing our numbers with anybody else. This is your number for you, so you can identify it yourself, and then when we finish this session, we'll go back and see what's happened to this number. So my emotion is angry. I'm angry that wants to release itself, and I'm getting a 9, and I'm feeling it all in my head. So when you're ready, open your eyes. And Susan, 0 to 10.
5, and it's in my chest. And this is a number that fluctuates a lot for me. Sometimes it's much more intense. Today it happens to be a 5. Sometimes it's as high as maybe 8.
Right. So this is a benchmark for now and what's going to release.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Wei Ling.
It's about a 7, and I can feel it in my eyes and my throat and my chest.
Okay, great, thank you. Loretta.
It's just like come now. It's all here, all around this, and in my jaw. And I would give it I give the head like a 9, and the jaw I would give an 8.
Okay, great, thank you. Liz.
Hi, I'm going to go with, I have it in my throat and I have it in my middle, and I'm just going to go with 5.
Thank you. Marine.
It's at the moment it's like 6, 7, But of course, it's changing all the time, and I'm trying to distract myself with the daily things at home, so not concentrating a lot on it. And I feel it mostly around my chest, like around my heart, my chest.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you. And so just to repeat that this is just a benchmark. So you know, you will feel a difference. This is all going to go. I have no idea, but you're going to feel a difference. Now, if the number goes up, it's perfect, because of what that's showing is that something is presenting itself. So it's building to let go. That can happen. More often than not, it just goes down. So whatever happens is going to be perfect. I have the fast track card set out to the left of me. There are 21 in total, and we are going to start by finding out if, as a collective, we have resistance to change around letting go of this anxiety and all of these emotions. Prior to that, what I'm going to do is calibrate the level of these emotions. So restless, more than 80, 90, 80 to 85, 87% restless. Sad, more than 50, 40, 40 to 45, 45, 46, 47. Broken, more than 50, more than 40, more than 30, 30 to 35, 35, 36, 37. Trapped, more than 50, 40, 30, 20, 20 to 25, 25, 26, 27. Frustrated, this is going to be big, more than 80, 90, 98, 97, 96. This isn't for you as individuals, this is for us as a group. Anxiety, 40, more than 40, more than 50, more than 60, more than 70, more than 80, 90, more than 90, 95, 95, 94, 93% anxiety. Helpless, more than 50, 40, 30, 30 to 35, 35, 36, 37. Overwhelm, more than 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 80 to 85, 85, 86, 87. Fear of what's coming, fear of the future, fear of the unknown, more than 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 80 to 85, 85, 86, 87. And angry or anger, more than 50, 60, this is me on my own, more than 70, 80, 90, 80 to 85, 85, 86, 87. Whoa, I can feel this. All right, and I just checked in, and so this anger is about, and this will be a bit like helpless, but this is like, blah, it's about not being in control. Is the powers that be have got the control. But I don't, yes, I am helpless, but I'm more angry than helpless. I'm just going to check, is that angry all mine? No, so, so I'm sharing that with you guys. All right. So we have, do we have resistance to change? Yes, there's more than 80, 90, 98, 99. We have 100% resistance to change. This is more about the resistance to change that is in your programming as subconscious programming. It's not you specifically as a conscious being. Do we need to know more? No. Can we release this? Yes, we can. Loretta, would you release this with me? So for those of you who are not familiar with Fast Track, and those will be the people who are watching this recording, this is the card that's going to release resistance to change. And what we do is we use magnets or crystals that have the capacities to pull out what doesn't belong there. Resistance to change is something that does not belong there. And so we are going to release this by running that crystal along the governing meridian and sending messages out to where all that stuckness is and dispersing it. Okay, Loretta, let's do this. I fast track the release.
Fast track the release.
Of all resistance to change.
Of all resistance to change.
Fear of change.
Fear of change.
Secondary gain.
Secondary gain.
And social conditioning.
And social conditioning.
And any other aspects.
And any other aspects.
Conscious or unconscious.
Conscious or unconscious.
Creating my resistance to change.
Creating my resistance to change.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
I forgive my human beingness.
I forgive my human beingness.
And I give myself permission to let this go.
And I give myself permission to let this go.
And I allow this change.
And I allow this change.
To be easy, graceful.
To be easy and graceful.
And fun.
And fun.
Now.
Now.
What a resistance to it being fun. All right, did we release that? Is the resistance zero? So the resistance to change is gone in the subconscious. That means that we can absorb more of what's going on. All right, so Wei Ling, this is for you. If you would join me in this one. So Wei Ling had sadness and a feeling of being broken. So let's find out what that's about. All right. Do we go to line number 1, line number 2, line number 3? The body, the heart, trauma, old vibrations. Okay. Old vibrations, is it old stories, old vibrations? Are these stories, are these Wei Ling's stories? Yes. Are these stories she tells herself? Do we need to know more? Is this a specific age? Is it before the age of 20? Before the age of 10? 10 to 15? 15, 16, 17. So this is age 17, and these are stories that you took on as a truth for whatever reason around about the age of 17. Mm-hmm. And these stories are what you keep, you're continuing to tell yourself. So age 17 was a little bit before the coronavirus, a little bit before isolation, but it's these old stories that you are telling yourself, you keep repeating to yourself, which is the cause of the feelings of sad and broken. Okay, now there's sadness and there's broken in these stories. They want to get gone. And this isolation for you is an opportunity to investigate what those stories are and how you keep telling them to yourself. Once they're in the subconscious, they'll be like a program. So it's not really who you are now, but it's only the conscious part of yourself that can stop those stories. We can release this, but if you keep telling yourself those stories, you're going to bring them back to you. So is there more than 10 stories? More than 5? More than 5, 4. So there's 3 stories. So when you've got time, perhaps after the webinar, sit down and find out what are those 3 stories that you keep telling yourself that are keeping sad and broken as a reality in your life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And let's release them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I fast track the release.
Fast track the release.
Of all the old stories.
Of all the old stories.
That I keep telling myself.
That I keep telling myself.
Going back to the age of 17.
Going back to the age of 17.
And all the ways I'm using those stories.
In all the ways I'm using those stories.
To keep myself sad.
To keep myself sad.
To keep myself broken.
To keep myself broken.
And out of my
potential.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself
for doing this to me.
For doing this to me.
And I now choose to use this isolation.
And I now choose to use isolation.
To release all old patterns.
To release all old patterns.
Stories.
And
beliefs. That no longer serve me. And what's coming. I do this for myself and the collective.
I do this for myself and the collective.
Now. I'll come back and check in and see what happens afterwards. So although we mentioned 17, because that's specific for Wei Ling, this will go back to any age where this is relevant for you. So don't think, oh, well, that doesn't concern me, and don't do it. Do it, because your subconscious will trot off and find something similar.
Thank you.
And also, 7 is the only number with fast track that the fast track pays any attention to. And it's the number 7, because 7 is always about self. And Wei Ling had a 47 and a 37, and she felt it a 7 out of 10. So there's a lot, that's quite an indicator that it's you doing this stuff to you. That's not unusual. So I think we all do this to ourselves. It starts somewhere, but we're the ones that carry it on. And of course, we're going to be opening to a new way of being when we get to the other side of this. And this is the time to let go of all that old stuff, because it's not going to be needed in the new vibration of what is coming. What's coming, I have no idea. But I don't want to be taking any of my old crap with me when I go. All right, Liz. All right. So Liz's was a lot about kind of like overwhelm and feeling helpless to help those people, her family, who are in a different country than where she is. So let's find out, where do we go for Liz? Is it card number 1, line number 1, line number 2? Family, absolutely. All right. So is this specific family members? No, is this all of Liz's family? Is it this lifetime? Okay. So this is family and extended family for you, Liz. I'm sure you already know that. Do we need to know more? Is it card number 1, line number 1, line number 2, line number 3? The body, the heart, trauma. Got it. Okay. Is it shock, trauma, cellular memory? Is this current? No. Does this go back throughout Liz's life? Does it go back before the age of 5? 5, 6, 7. Oh, this is very interesting. Do we need to know more? Okay. So what this is age 7 is the age where we start to be able to make logical decisions. Our brain is sufficiently developed to make logical decisions. And so at age 7, in your wisdom of being alive for 7 years, Liz, you decided that it was your job to take on family traumas, to take on anything. Now, a trauma is, you know, a trauma, shock, anxiety, stuff, things that happen to them, right? But what you did is you decided that you would take it on, probably because you're a nice person, but it didn't help them at all. It just means that now you got it as well. But what you did with cellular memories, you decided that you were going to remember this so it would not happen again. What that means in practical terms is that you don't let things go. That's why you feel so helpless to be able to affect your family, because you've tied yourself, locked yourself into them in a way that isn't helpful. It's like you feel you have to feel everything that they feel, which actually isn't true. And you also decided that you need to remember how they felt. So you're plugged into them in a way that is totally not helpful for them or for yourself. And as a therapist, I know how important this is. I am way more effective because I'm not connected in that way to my clients. I can see things more clearly, I can see them detached, and I can be way more practical and efficient because I'm not connected to what they're telling me. All right, so for you, what we're going to do, it doesn't mean to say that you don't love them, but there's a phrase, to care without carrying. You do not need to carry their stuff. And I don't suppose they ever asked you to anyway. And again, you don't know you're doing, but at age 7, you decided that's what you're going to do. When I was 7, I decided I was going to heal the world. When I was 7, it felt very doable, you know, because I used to read all the comics and I could do all of that when I was 7, but I dragged that along for many, many years until I released it, because there was no way I could heal the world, right? I could be part of the healing of the world, but I carried that along as a not a belief, yeah, as a belief and a program, and it was a responsibility because I decided at age 7 I was going to do that. Would you like to let that go?
Yes.
All right. I fast track the release.
I fast track and release
All cellular memory
all cellular memory
and my need to remember those memories
and my need to remember those memories
of all the shock and trauma
of all the shock and trauma
that I've taken on for my family,
that I've taken on for my family,
going back to the age of 7.
going back to the age of 7.
I forgive myself
I forgive myself
for taking on this responsibility.
for taking on this responsibility.
I forgive anyone who gave me the message
I forgive anyone who gave me the message
that it was my responsibility
that it was my responsibility
to do this for them.
to do this for them.
And I now release myself
And I now release myself
from all of that.
from all of that.
And I give myself permission
And I give myself permission
to care deeply
to care deeply
for all my family
for all my family
without carrying their stuff.
without carrying their stuff.
It is time
It is time
for me to live my life
for me to live my life
for me.
for me.
And I will use this time of isolation
And I will use this time of isolation
to love myself more,
to love myself more,
care for myself more,
care for myself more,
and to be myself
and to be myself
more than before.
more than before.
Now.
Now.
Woo!
Thank you.
I think that might have like a domino effect. It might start to kind of open up and unravel.
Yeah.
But if you just write down to care without carrying, that's the thing for us all.
Thank you.
That was huge. I'll come back to you and check with you before we leave. All right. Susan, what's that thing on your head?
Oh, we had this huge ceremony right exactly before before the meeting here. So it's from praying, family, temple, praying.
I want one. All right. So Susan was restless, and she felt it in her chest. So let's find out, where do we go with this? And also Susan said that restlessness fluctuates. So at the moment it was feeling like a 5. So is it about restless? Nope, didn't think so. Okay, so do we go to card number 1, line number 1, line number 2? Family, birth and womb, inherited, karmic, outer resonance 1, outer resonance 2. So there's 2 ways this can go. Is it connected to separation? Woo! No. Is it connected to an emotion? Yes. So these are deep emotions that we're carrying, and we're generally carrying them for a different reason. And it might be about this lifetime, it might be about something else. But generally these are emotions that we have, and we've never really known life without them. So let's find out, is it sadness, sorrow, grief? Is this Susan's grief? Is it from this lifetime? Is this the grief of parents? Yeah. Do we need to know more? Whoa, this is here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is absolutely. So this is grief that you are carrying. Do you know what that is, Susan?
Not really. I do. When you said that, I flashed on my father and grief that he was carrying for his family. He was adopted, a long story, but you know, that kind of thing. So
yeah. So this isn't grief connected to you or about you, but it's the grief that you've taken on
carrying
for him, but for your mother as well.
Yeah, and also yes.
Okay. All right. So Maureen, you have this. Loretta, you have this. Wei Ling, you have this. Liz, you have this. All right. Let's release it. So this is probably because it's from the heart. It's probably connected to the heart or the chest.
Yeah.
It's about family grief. And this is, and this grief separates you from being more of whatever it is that you're working with, because it's just there as a, what's the word, like a subtle or a undercurrent. It's
an undercurrent
there.
Yeah.
Let's release this. I fast track the release.
I fast track the release
of all grief.
Of all grief.
Absorbed from my mother.
Absorbed from my mother.
And my father.
And my father.
And anyone else.
And anyone else.
And their grief.
And their grief.
Being taken into my chest.
Taken into my chest.
My heart center.
My heart center.
Or any other parts of myself.
Or any other parts of myself.
I forgive myself for doing this to me.
I forgive myself for doing this to myself.
And I choose to release this.
And I choose to release this.
Grief.
This grief.
To the light.
To the light.
For myself and for them.
For myself and for them.
If it's appropriate.
If appropriate.
Woo! Woo! Do you want to add to that, Susan?
And I release this grief for the collective and for all others who have felt this or are feeling this now. so that we may be freer, more able to be who we are, and to move forward with our own life. Now,
it is safe, right, and good
it is safe, right, and good
for me to live without grief,
for me to live without grief,
hardship,
hardship,
worry, and anxiety.
worry, and anxiety.
I choose
I choose
to be the solution
to be the solution
now.
now.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's good, Jazz. I mean, that's been a theme for me for a long time, that grief. So that's great. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maureen.
Yeah.
Okay, so Maureen's was more about the fear of what's coming, what's on the other side of this for herself and her family. And she felt that in her head and her chest. So let's.
I said hard.
Oh, sorry. Yes, you did heart. I'm not reading my own writing here. Scribble. Okay. Do we go to card number 1? Line number 1. Line number 2. Family, birth and womb, inherited, karmic, outer resonance 1, outer resonance 2. So same card as Susan. So is it connected to separation? No. Is this connected to a specific emotion? Is it grief? Is it sadness, sorrow, overwhelm? Is this Marine's overwhelm? No. Is this overwhelm from other people, other situations? Okay, this matches very well. Does this go back before the age of 7, 7, 6, 5, 4? Age 4. Maureen is a particularly sensitive person, and you don't develop sensitivity, you're born it. and at the age of 4, whatever, I don't know what would have started this off, Maureen, but you started to absorb other people's overwhelm. Their overwhelmed to situations, to relationships. You wouldn't have done this consciously, but as sensitives, what we want is just peace and tranquility, and we'll do practically anything to get that, which includes taking on external energies to kind of calm the waves for ourselves. Initially, that would make sense, but when you start to do that, it's almost like you're taking in more and more and more. You become a magnet for it. It becomes something that you do without intention. And I'm sure at age 4, you didn't have a specific intention. It would have been more like a reaction or a response. So this will be why that you have anxiety about what's coming, because you already got a load of overwhelm, and it will make you want to be everything to be peaceful and calm, because anything that doesn't fit in with that will tip the balance, because you're holding on to so much overwhelm which isn't even yours. So does that make sense to you?
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
Well, I was small, I don't remember anything. But what I feel now is that, well, in one hand, it's very great that I'm with my family during this isolation. But as you mentioned, because I'm sensitive, sometimes it drives me crazy, because I just want to escape and just stay by myself.
Exactly, yes. And it's, thank you for sharing that, because one of the next ones I'm going to do webinars I'm going to do is for mothers with children and
Yeah.
isolation, because whereas people like myself who live alone, it gives me more
Yeah.
time. But for people with children and responsibilities, there's more cooking, there's more cleaning, there's more of everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, so which I can't possibly understand.
That's also plus emotions and everything that all the members of your family are feeling. So
Yeah.
it's kind of double.
All right. So we're going to go back to the age of 4, and we're going to kick that out. All right. So here is the emotion of overwhelm. This is connected to family and the people that you took it on from, and being remembered as shock, trauma, and stuff like that. So let's do this. I fast track the release
I fast track to release
of all overwhelm,
of all overwhelm,
absorbed from other people
absorbed from other people
and their situations,
in their situations,
going back to the age of 4,
going back to the age of 4,
connected to my sensitivity
connected to my sensitivity
and my need
and my need
to control my environment,
to control my environment,
to keep myself safe.
to keep myself safe.
I choose
I choose
to release all overwhelm
to release all overwhelm
from every cell of my body,
from every cell of my body,
to allow myself to be more efficient
to allow myself to be more efficient
and capable
and capable
for myself and for others,
for myself and for others
in the right way, for the right reasons.
in the right way for the right reason.
I also choose
I also choose
to connect with my sensitive self,
to connect to my sensitive self,
to take care of my sensitive self,
to take care of my sensitive self,
and to use this time of isolation
and to use this time of isolation
to connect to the miracle
to connect to the miracle
of who I am
of who I am
and why I'm here.
and why I'm here.
It is time
It is time
for me to live my life
for me to live my life
for me now.
now.
Would you like to add anything, Marie?
I would like just to get back my ability of filtering my emotions from the other people emotions, which I carry a lot for the last weeks again. And just accept that this is a great thing to show me that we are not able to control anything, even if we think so, because there are greater things that are controlling everything and taking care of it. So just relax and do whatever we can do for today, as nobody knows what is coming tomorrow. So just enjoy life today.
I choose. I choose
I choose
to surrender
surrender
to my inner wisdom and knowing
to my inner wisdom and knowing
and my sensitive self
and my sensitive self.
now.
Now,
Good work.
thank you.
So cool. All right. Okay. Last but not least, Loretta. Loretta mentioned that she feels emotions coming up when it starts to get dark towards the end of the day. And my experience of that is that that's the time when we start to let go of our control or our need to control or our thoughts, as Marie says, that we think we're controlling stuff. And so stuff that we've been asking for wants to come up. So it might feel more intense in the evenings as it starts to get dark, but that's because you weren't able to allow it to come up throughout the day because of the distractions, this kind of stuff. So it's part of the same thing, and no judgment about ourselves. Is we're just human beings, and we're very, very attached to being happy and having, doing what we want to do, and all the good stuff that we've been taught will make us happy. And so we can use that to distract ourselves from what really wants to come up. But when we're relaxing for the day, or it's time to go to bed and start unwinding, the subconscious is like, okay, let's let this out. Let's let this out. She's been asking for it. Here it is. But then it's like, whoa, we get the impact of it more, and we decide that it's not appropriate. And so what is coming up, the dread, the panic, the anxiety, I think that's a reaction from you, Loretta, about what wants to come up, is you're trying to control it. I don't say this with any judgment. It's just about being a human being. And I know that you're doing a lot of deep work with yourself. So when you're doing deep work, you have to accept that that deep stuff has got to come up, and it's not going to be comfortable a lot of the time. That's my experience. And I've been through a lot of this stuff. And when stuff wants to come up, it can be painful. It can be very, very emotional, but just try and ride it. And maybe instead of allowing it to dictate to you when it wants to come up, you decide when you are ready for it to come up, and go and look for it. It's there. It's very, very there. So less of the distractions, more of the going in, the breathing into whatever it is, the allowing it, the talking to it, and it will release. Well, let's see what's going on for Loretta. Card number 1, line number 1, line number 2. Family, birth and womb, inherited, karmic, outer resonance 1, outer resonance 2, same one. Okay, so is this an emotion? Yes. Is it sad, sorrow, overwhelm, guilt, grief, confusion? Okay, confusion. All right, is this preconception? Do we need to know more? So this is your confusion about why you're here, actually, because this is going back preconception, whatever that means for you. But confusion, and you're here now, and there's a part of you just still doesn't get it. What are you doing here? So like, what's my life purpose? What should I be doing? Actually, it's not about that. You're just confused with this world because it's a confusing place for somebody with your sensitivities. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. And the truth is, it doesn't add up. And this is a very, very tricky time. So it's the confusion. But your job is to make sure that you're okay. When you're okay with your inner self and your balance there, then the rest of the world, it might never make sense, but you'll be more able to work within that and find the balance for yourself. So let's release the confusion. Do we need to know more? Okay. So, and what's interesting, I was just checking to see if you're using the confusion to keep yourself safe. And the great thing is, no, you're not. You're absolutely ready to go through all of this stuff, Loretta. You're doing an amazing, flipping amazing job. And you need to congratulate yourself. In fact, we're all going to do that at the end of this. All right, so let's do this. I fast track the release.
I fast track the release.
Of all confusion.
Of all confusion.
of all preconception confusion,
of all preconception confusion,
my reason for being here,
my reason for being here,
what I should do,
what I should do,
what I shouldn't do,
what I shouldn't do,
what needs to change,
what needs to change,
and all the ways I try to control myself
and all the ways I try to control myself
by analyzing that which can't be analyzed.
that which can't be analyzed.
I forgive my preconception self
I forgive my preconception self
for trying to understand my human being self.
for trying to understand my human being self.
And I give myself permission to let go
And I give myself permission to let go
and to enjoy the journey
and to enjoy the journey
as I integrate my human being self
my human being self
with my preconception self,
with my preconception self,
with love, understanding,
understanding,
and appreciation for myself.
and appreciation for myself.
It is time
It is time
for me to let go
for me to let go
and allow my sensitive self
and allow my sensitive self
to be more present
be more present
in this body,
in the body,
on this planet,
on this planet,
with clarity.
with clarity.
Now,
Now,
I choose
I choose
to be grateful. To be grateful
to be grateful
for every step it has taken
for every step that it has taken
to get me here
to get me here
with this clarity.
with this clarity.
Now,
Now,
I open myself to receive.
I open myself to receive.
What would you like to send, Susan?
I send love and more clarity to Loretta and to the universe around all of these issues, around all these issues about confusion that many of us feel and have felt.
I allow myself to receive.
I allow myself to receive.
Now,
Now,
Wei-Ling, what would you like to send?
I would like to send warmth and compassion.
To Loretta.
Yes.
I allow myself to receive.
I allow myself to receive.
It is safe
It is safe
for me to receive.
for me to receive.
Me to receive.
Maureen, what would you like to send?
I would like to send the ability to be here and now, because, yeah, just to be here and enjoy being here
Nice.
and now, to Loretta.
I allow myself.
I allow myself to receive.
Elizabeth.
I'm going to send love, and I'm going to send the ability, well, the just love yourself.
I open myself
I open myself
to receive.
to receive.
Now.
Now,
Well, if that doesn't break down a few barriers, I don't know what is. All right.
you.
All right. So the last one is Jazz, and she's got some anger, not as much as she had before, so some of it's gone. So let's find out for Jazz and for the collective. Is there anything we can release that will release more of this anger? Is it card number 1, line number 1, line number 2? Family, birth and womb, inherited, karmic, outer resonance. Is this outer resonance 1, outer resonance 2? Isn't this interesting? And you know, please note, there's not one of these got anything to do with the isolation. Nothing. It's like it's what wants to come up. It's what we've been asking for. So, is this an emotion? Is it anger? No. Is it sad? Sorrow? Grief? Overwhelm? Confusion? Okay, is it current confusion? Can I have more information? Card number 1, line number 1, line number 2. All right. Okay, spiritual beings. All right, so this anger is not anger at all. It's confusion, but it's current confusion, and I'm using it to sabotage myself. This is the card for the archetype of the saboteur, to keep me small, to keep me down. You know, this is an amazing opportunity for people like myself to become more seen, more of everything. And so there's still a part of me sabotaging myself by being confused. And let's say, you know, I don't know what to do. I don't know how, all that kind of stuff. And all that human being stuff. And it is so flipping accurate. So, and I don't generally get involved in any of these theories, conspiracy theories or anything, because I don't want to add fuel to the fire. And so why would I get angry about the fires burning? Well, okay, just let's confuse myself and stop myself being more amazing. So is there anybody here who would like to join me and become more amazing now? Right, okay, let's do this. Gosh, I'm so tricky. I fast track the release.
And fast track the release
of all confusion.
Of all confusion.
That I am using.
That I am using.
To sabotage myself.
Sabotage myself.
To keep myself safe.
Keep myself safe.
To keep myself in the dark.
Keep myself in the dark.
Keep myself in the dark.
In any other ways I'm using this.
In any other ways that I'm using this.
To hold myself back.
To hold myself back.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
I forgive all parts of myself.
I forgive all parts of myself.
All broken parts of myself. Sad parts.
Sad parts.
Grieving parts.
Grieving parts.
Sensitive parts. I choose to accept myself exactly as I am. And I allow this to be more extraordinary. More amazing. More creative and curious. Than ever before. I choose to be the light.
I choose to be the light.
I choose to be in the light.
I choose to be in the light.
And I allow this light
to
emanate out beyond my mind into the collective, to be received
To be received.
by those open to choose. Now.
And Jazz,
I knew you had something.
for you, Jazz. And I allow myself to shine.
I allow myself to shine.
Shine in the
I allow
world.
myself to sparkle.
I allow myself to sparkle.
I connect to the diamond within.
I connect to the diamond within.
And I surrender.
And I surrender. Now.
All right. Wow. Okay. Well, there's a secrets out. All right. We've gone way over the hour, but let's just go quickly round. And again, let's just acknowledge that this has got nothing to do, or it's not really had anything to do with coronavirus. Coronavirus has given us the opportunity to, we don't have to like coronavirus, but we do need to accept that it's given us this opportunity to find out more about us and how we operate, or why we don't operate to our full potential in the world. So let's just go. So Susan, yours was a 5 in your chest. What does that feel like?
A 2.
A 2. All right. Okie dokie. All right. Wei Ling, yours was a 7. Eyes, and chest.
I feel better, like just 1.
All right. Look,
Very mild, yeah.
the sky there. Wow.
Yeah. I've got a sky, got a beach behind me, and the ocean.
Ah, tough life.
Yeah. It's
All
just
right.
stranded in a good place.
Indeed. Loretta, yours was an 8. Top of the head, top of the head 9, jaw 8.
I think the head's a lot better. The head's now maybe a 4, but my jaw is still pretty high, and it's in my teeth.
All right, okay. So jaw is generally anger, frustration, gritting your teeth, grin and bear it. Do some fast track around that by yourself. You don't need to know what's causing it. If you can connect to the feeling of it, then just do your own stuff. Get in control of this. Get rid of it. And okie dokie. Liz, yours was about a 5. Throat in your middle.
I don't feel anything in my middle at all. I genuinely don't feel anything there, but I still feel like a 2 around my throat.
Okay, all right, okay. And
thank you.
So that will be something that is wanting to come up. Again, you don't have to know what it is. Drink lots and lots of water, everybody. When we're releasing toxins, sometimes, it can help dissipate those, but give yourself permission. I fast track the release of this remaining 2 in my throat, blah, 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 and just see what comes up. You don't have to know the situation. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but just give it a whirl now that you know more about yourself than you did before. Maureen.
Maybe 1 or 2, but the interesting thing is that now I have a fear that I don't have that fear, because it was kind of giving me the feeling of security, because I was worried about something. So I was doing something, kind of working, and now I don't have.
Damn.
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, okay. So, well, thank you very much. I'm going to send the replay out. Once again, my apologies for the screw up. I think I will do this again at some point, maybe a different time during the day, and offer it out again. So with a password, once I get the hang of what that's all about. Any last words from anybody before we go?
Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm gonna,
Thank you, Jess.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Jazzy.
I'm going to stop the recording now.